the top of the world, this is your new life station. Broadcast on KNLS, Single Point, Alaska, United States of America. Our English language transmission starts in 1 minute. Of the English Hour, from the top of the world and the beautiful region of the Indian Ocean. This is your new life station, bringing you music to love, news to know, and a message to live. Each week we may take you from Alaska to Asia to Africa to America. This is Lucy Grant, your host. My co-host is Rob Scopey, senior producer of English programming.
Thanks, Lucy. If you have a new iPhone, it's now easier to guard your privacy. Marcy Bryan reports. Babies have trouble screening out background noise. St. Ryan offers tips to help on Family Minute. The child left her stuffed bear at a fast food restaurant far from home. What special problem did that create? Jim Daly tells us. Do you ever feel your family and friends don't accept you? If you do, you want to hear the conclusion of Carl Ladd's conversation with Gail Porter. This on First Person. And Paul Taylor has Creation Love.
And we'll play your favorite songs from today's best music, along with today's profiles in Christian music with Gail Crow, a message from God's Word, and much, much more.
This hour, you'll hear your favorites from Harry Styles, Jessie J featuring B.O.B., Chris Glenn, Daughtry, and BTS. Let's get started with Justin Bieber and Hold On.
Your favorite songs from today's best music. This is your new life station. Marcy Bryan helps your new life station keep an eye on the latest business developments around the world. Apple recently released a new iOS for its mobile devices. This long-awaited update is a big deal because it comes with a new privacy tool. iOS 14.5 will prompt iPhone and iPad users to opt out of tracking in apps that monitor their behavior and then share that data with third parties. Since 2012, apps developed for iOS have used an application called an Identifier for Advertising, or an IDFA, to conduct tracking across different websites and apps. Apps usually collect this identifier so they can connect the information about the user gathered elsewhere, like on the web, in order to better target ads for that individual. Apple mobile users weren't able to limit ad tracking easily. You could, but you had to know just the right place to go and what toggles to flip. This newest update directly prompts users to approve or disapprove this tracking for every app, which means tracking apps will need users' permission to access the IDFA. These new rules will also impact other app processes, including sharing location data and hidden trackers for the purpose of connecting other types of ad analytics. Some industry experts believe a large number of users will opt out of tracking. And they're probably right. iOS 14.5 is considered a major win for user privacy, and should give iPhone users a greater understanding of the type of tracking that takes place on their devices. There are other updates. You can set your phone to automatically download security updates. There are new emoji options available, and your Apple Watch will unlock your iPhone if you are wearing a mask. The app tracking transparency tool doesn't mean an end to all tracking. There are workarounds even now, but this is a welcome start to regain some privacy back for the owner of the information.
Now it's time for True Stories from the Bible in Contemporary English. Today's story begins with an official named Zerubbabel and Joshua the priest urging the people to start working on the temple again. But the governor and his assistant got together with some of their officials and went to Jerusalem to ask the people, "Who told you to rebuild this temple? Give us the names of the workers." Then the governor and his advisors sent a report to Darius, who said, "King Darius, we wish you the best. We went to Judah, where the temple of the great God is being built, with huge stones, wooden beams set in the walls. Everyone is working hard, and the building is going up fast. We asked those in charge to tell us who gave them permission to rebuild the temple. We also asked for the names of their leaders. They claimed to be servants of the God who rules heaven and earth. And they said they were rebuilding the temple that was built many years ago by one of Israel's greatest kings. We were told that their people had made God angry, and he let them be captured by Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian king, who took them away as captives to Babylonia. Nebuchadnezzar tore down their temple, took its gold and silver articles, and put them in the temple of his own God in Babylon. They also said that during the first year Cyrus was king of Babylonia, he gave orders for God's temple to be rebuilt in Jerusalem, and the work is still going on. Please order someone to look up the old records in Babylonia and find out if King Cyrus really did give orders to rebuild God's temple in Jerusalem." This story is found in the Bible book of Ezra, chapter 5. Next on True Stories from the Bible in Contemporary English, we will hear about King Darius finding the order Cyrus had given to rebuild the temple. Join us again for True Stories from the Bible in Contemporary English.
Formerly a member of One Direction, here's Harry Styles.
You know how hard it is to focus in a loud room? Well, it's even harder for your baby. Hi, I'm Kate Ryan from Focus on the Family Australia. A new study suggests that noisy environments are distracting to young babies and can even cause delays in speaking. Babies can't always tune out background noises like a TV in another room or a loud kitchen in a restaurant. Young infants up to a year in age have trouble distinguishing between someone talking to them and noises in the distance. That's why it's good to turn off any electronics when playing with your baby or when reading to them at night. Try taking at least an hour a day and eliminating all those subtle noises that you may not even hear and using the time to interact with your baby one-on-one. You'll both enjoy the time together and they may even learn to talk sooner. For more on caring for a growing baby, go to families.org.au.
Who would have thought a stuffed animal could provide parents with an opportunity to grow? Well, that's what happened for my wife Jean and I after we welcomed Sam and Chloe into our home from the foster care system. He's 3 and she's 5. One of our responsibilities was to drive the kids an hour north to Denver for visits with their parents. I agreed to take the kids to one of those scheduled meetings, but the meeting was canceled just as we arrived. Instead, we went to Chick-fil-A. In the parking lot, Chloe asked if she could take her stuffed bear inside. Of course, I said. 30 minutes into the drive home, Chloe told me she'd forgotten her bear. I told her we'd call Chick-fil-A and pick up the bear the next time we were in Denver. When we got home, Jean wasn't happy. It turns out the bear was part of a weekly ceremony at the kids' preschool that had been going on for 20 years. The bear was awarded to the student of the week who took the bear home. The next ceremony was the following day, and Jean was the hero of the story. She drove back to Denver the next morning and got the bear from Chick-fil-A to the preschool just in time for the presentation. And since then, Jean and I have laughed at how much trouble a little stuffed bear can cause. And we've also been reminded how often parenting gives us an opportunity to sacrifice, grow, and love better. To help your children thrive, visit FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
Here at your new life station, we love to make God's Word available to anyone who asks. We have the Bible in the easy-to-read English version. You can get one free of charge. Just write to us by postal mail to KNLS, P.O. Box 473, Anchor Point, Alaska, 99556, USA. Or email us at radio@knls.org.
Let's get into the music. Here's Jessie J featuring B.O.B. We're all on the journey we call life. Life in the here and now and life in the hereafter. Want to hear some good news to help us thrive on this journey? Jesus delivered the news. Dr. Luke wrote it down in the Bible. And Greg Taylor brings it to us in our series, The Journey. Here's Greg Taylor with today's edition of The Journey.
Providing inheritance can lead to family battles. A man in the U.S. state of Maryland, however, imagined a brilliant way to split family wealth without dividing the family. His family actually had fun divvying up possessions. Washington Post writer Thomas Heath tells the story of a man who invited his adult sons and daughter to his house, gave them each $2,000 in play money, monopoly money, and announced he would conduct an auction for the family stuff. One of the sons, David Ladon, said his friends fight with siblings over their parents' stuff. Not the expensive stuff, but odds and ends that each child wanted. My dad avoided this problem brilliantly, he said. Dad was the auctioneer, and Mom recorded the results. With no plan like this, some families disintegrate when it comes to dividing up possessions. In one example, a mother enters a nursing home. Her son backs up a rental truck and empties her house. A sister takes all the deceased mother's china before the siblings have a chance to talk about it. The Ladon family way of distributing the family estate is not universally accepted now. Dividing your wealth before you die is also not accepted in the time when Jesus told the story of the prodigal son. I wonder how people would have responded when Jesus said he divided his wealth. I think the original hearers of Jesus' story of the prodigal son about the man and his sons would have thought the man what we would call a nincompoop. That's a silly American slang word for someone we think is foolish. No, we don't fault the young son in the story of Jesus for asking, but the father sure is a prodigal, extravagantly wasteful, to give away a third of the family life. The word there is Greek for life, bios. Well, the father seemed perfectly willing to divide his wealth and give the younger son his portion freely. There is no sign of resistance, scolding, or withholding of this rightful inheritance. Fathers had the right to decide in advance how they wanted to distribute their wealth. And there were some norms for this. We may assume, since there were two sons, that the younger son received half, but a double portion was typically given in some cultures to the oldest son. Therefore, the younger son may have received only a third portion of the father's wealth. It was still a lot, it seems. What form of capital do you think the inheritance was in? Was it livestock, land, jewels, spices, slaves? Whatever form of life, the bios, of the family was given, it soon became mobile for the son to take far away. Tommy Kinney says the father's extravagance actually finances the son's trip away from the father. How many times have I said, "You're not going to act like that using my money," to my kids? Well, Kinney concludes, sometimes we use the very blessings that God gives us to finance our journey away from God. Ruth Bell Graham tells a story about a pastor's son. He could no longer follow his father's simple Christian faith. The father said to the son, "That is your freedom, your terrible freedom." What will you and I do with this terrible freedom and the gifts of God that He allows us to use? Will we use those gifts to go far away, or will we use those gifts to draw near to God? I'm Greg Taylor, and this is Journey. This is Greg Taylor. I want to hear from you. If you have a question about this program or need a Bible, write me a letter at this address: KNLS International, Anchor Point, Alaska, 99556, USA. Or write me an email, radio@knls.org. Or use the link on our website, www.knls.org.
Probably put our phones down and we can make 10 seconds of uninterrupted family contact.
In the new animated movie, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, now streaming on Netflix, I made a family that's just a bit different. Rick, the father of the family, is an old school kind of guy when it comes to technology. He's super handy with a screwdriver and the phone book. The Mitchells' oldest daughter, Katie, is about to head off to college. She has had enough of her dad's anti-tech weirdness. But Rick desperately wants to connect with her before she leaves home. So, instead of flying to California to drop her off as they'd planned, the family decides to make a road trip out. So wouldn't you know it, just as they get on the road, the tech apocalypse happens. Unleashing angry robots on humanity that basically becomes zombified after the Wi-Fi gets shut off, well, everywhere. Thankfully, the Mitchells' peculiar relationship with tech insulates them. In fact, the Mitchells become the unlikely last hope for humanity.
With black people left? Look at this. Yeah.
Hey, we're going to do this together. It's a family on three.
The Mitchells vs. the Machines has some great messages about over-reliance on technology, as well as the importance of family. There's a bit of cartoony conflict with the robots, of course, too. But you should know that a scene in the credits references Katie's newfound same-gender romance. So we're giving the Mitchells vs. the Machines a 3 out of 5 for family friendliness. Read the full review at pluggedin.com/radio. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Adam Holtz for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
delighted to have your company on today's English Hour. If you listen by shortwave radio, you can find out additional broadcast times and frequencies on our website, www.knls.org. You can also listen online on knls.org. Just click on today's English broadcast, your new life station, available on shortwave radio and on the internet.
Jess Glynn takes us into the music on your new life station. It's time now for First Person, stories of real people in real lives. Here's Paul Ladd.
Nobody wants to be rejected or thought less of by family, friends, and others in our lives. And at times, we are afraid to be who we really are because of it. Gil Porter helps us get past that, and will the real person please stand up, rising above the fear of rejection. So to quote a line from an old hymn, you came out of your bondage sorrow at night.
Yes, I did. And the contrast of that still amazes me. To quote a friend, there is a redemptive sorrow that happens. Sorrow for me was just not feeling loved and connected with my family as I grew up. And then feeling like because my family didn't love and accept me, others might not love and accept me. And I think that's what prompted me to build those walls and go into isolation. But because of as God began to work in my life, and I saw the sorrow, the real sorrow of my family, that I could take that sorrow and give it to God, and He overwhelmed me with His love for me, that He would redeem my life, and that He would make this the most glorious time of my life. To be able to say, not that I won't make mistakes, not that people won't misunderstand me, not that that fear of rejection won't rise up in me, but still, I know I'm on the path of freedom. And so that sorrow that is still always going to be my experience doesn't play a part in my life anymore, because I know I'm going to help other people take their sorrows, give them to God, and they will be free.
The next line of that same hymn, into thy freedom, gladness, and light.
Oh, that's wonderful. Because, yes, there's gladness, as the pleasures forevermore. And it's like I allowed myself to be robbed of experiencing those pleasures from God because I was too afraid to come out of hiding. But God truly has set me free. Turn my night to day.
And He's the only one who can do that.
Absolutely. And that's why in the book I wanted to make sure I kept talking about this is all through God. This is through His power, His strength that comes out of His love. So it's not something we have to work hard to try to overcome. But we acknowledge it to God. And I've acknowledged that to people, uncountable people, because I'm free to say, this is how it was before, and this is how it is now. And people are seeing the difference. And as I started writing this book, then I would just be telling about the book and the title, but say, well, let me tell you my rejection story. And a lot of those stories are in my book, because people are experiencing that, but they're not allowing other people to know the struggles they're going through with that fear of rejection.
God won't reject us.
Absolutely not. And that's one of the truths that we can stand on. He will never reject us. He will never stop loving us. He loves us unconditionally. And He's preparing us for love in heaven. It's a glorious partnership. But I think the love of God is the compelling factor here to finding the path to freedom.
Being free of the fear of rejection has strengthened your faith. How so?
Oh, it has, because I
I can more freely come into the presence of God. And I think that's coming, now that you're asking the question, I think that's coming because I've released those fears. I come freely into the presence of God. I've heard Him, heard His voice, heard His affirmations much more frequently than before. So it is deep in my faith that God, He's always said He is and always will be. And I can put my full faith on Him. The life I'm living now and will live is because of His love, the way He set me free, and the way now I can be His representative to set others free.
Gail Porter is author of Will a Real Person Please Stand Up? Rising Above the Fear of Rejection. If you'd like to know more about Gail and this very important book and topic, check out GailPorterAuthor.com, GailPorterAuthor.com. Gail is spelled G-A-I-L. Gail, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
With First Person, I'm Paul White.
Daughtry gets us back to the music on your new life station.
I was blown away. It contains God's message of faith, hope, and love. The Bible is the world's most popular book, with sales of more than 100 million copies per year. The Bible is actually composed of 66 books in two great divisions, 39 books in the Old Testament and 27 books on the New Testament. In this segment of Profiles of the Old Testament, Royce Kessler gives us an overview of one of these 39 great books. The last of the major prophets is Daniel. The study of this prophet is of great interest because we know more about him than any other prophet. He was of royal descent. When Jeremiah was being persecuted by the people and priests of Jehoiakim's reign, Nebuchadnezzar came to Jerusalem and carried Daniel into Babylonian captivity. Along with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Daniel was a young man of about 17 years when taken to Babylon. He lived through the entire period of captivity and was an old man when it ended after 70 years. As a result of his fidelity to God and his interpretation of the king's dream, he was elevated to a high position in the Babylonian kingdom within 1 year. Taken as a collection of memoirs by Daniel, this book offers information about several kingdoms. In Chapter 2, the king has a dream of a huge stone with a head of gold, a breast of silver, belly and thighs of brass, legs of iron, and feet mixed with iron and clay. A big stone, cut out without hands, struck the image on his feet and broke them into pieces. The king's magicians could not tell him what the dream meant, but Daniel, by God's power, could and did. Daniel revealed to the king that he, Nebuchadnezzar, was the head of gold. His kingdom would be conquered by the Medo-Persians, represented by the breast of silver. Later, the Assyrians would dominate the Medes, as portrayed in the belly and thighs of brass. The next part of the image, the legs of iron, represented the Grecian kingdom. Then in 63 BC, the Romans conquered the Greeks and became the rulers of the world, representing the feet mixed with iron and clay. It was in connection with this part of the image that Daniel said, "In the days of these kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed." This was a prophecy of the coming kingdom of Christ, the church, which was established in Jerusalem in the year 33 AD, thus fulfilling the prophecy of Daniel 2:44. Another great incident described in this book is the refusal of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to fall down and worship the image of gold constructed by King Nebuchadnezzar. Consequently, they were thrown into a fiery furnace. However, through God's intervention, they survived without even the smell of smoke on their person, nor a hair of their head singed. Nebuchadnezzar glorified God because of this and promoted them in the province. The book also tells of a conspiracy against Daniel and how he was thrown into a lion's den for praying to his God. He was miraculously spared all harm from the mouths of the lions by the power of God. Daniel also had a dream of 4 beasts, a lion, a bear, a leopard, and a great beast with 10 horns and iron teeth. The beast devoured the lion, bear, and leopard. In connection with his dream, Daniel saw the throne cast down, and the Ancient of Days sat upon the throne himself. To him it was given dominion and glory, and a kingdom that would be served by all people. It would be an everlasting kingdom. This, of course, was another dream of the coming kingdom of Christ, the church. There is too much imagery in this book to describe in one script. However, one can readily see that this is indeed a book of dreams, with Daniel being the leading character.
It may be traditional, it may be contemporary, but it always has a message. Gail Crow joins us now for Profiles in Christian Music, featuring a selection of great Christian music.
Do you have any friends? Probably sounds like an odd question. I don't mean acquaintances. I mean friends. Real friends. Friends who are always there. Friends who are the shelter in your rain. Friends who help you smile again. Friends who never walk away regardless of what grounds fall down on you. If you have a friend like that, you're fortunate. Many people don't. We live around 1,000 acquaintances, but a real friend is hard to find. Amy Grant wrote, "I will be your friend." The friend in this song is the ultimate friend, the great friend, the friend who is absolutely guaranteed never to leave. She's talking about God. Brooke Autumn at Rochester College in Michigan sings Amy Grant's "I Will Be Your Friend." I will be your friend.
Why do several of the songs in the Bible include the comment with stringed instruments at the beginning of the inspired text? That's what you're about to find out on today's Creation Moment. And now our Creation Moment's host, our Taylor.
Several of the Psalms begin with the instruction with stringed instruments. Although this instruction is not included in verse 1 of the psalm, it is in fact part of the inspired text. We can verify this by looking at the identical phrase at the end of Habakkuk 3, verse 19. The instruction is given to the choirmaster or chief of singers. It could simply be that Hebrew did not have a word to use for conductor of the tabernacle orchestra, but it is true that many stringed instruments produce a sound akin to that of the human voice. We do not know for sure what stringed instrument was used. We know that King David played a harp, but this would not have been a huge symphony orchestra harp. Rather, it would have been even smaller than a Celtic harp, and the player could probably have sat with the instrument resting on his lap. The sound, which is after all just vibrations of the air, is produced by vibrating a string, by plucking, hitting, or bowing it. Most stringed instruments include guitars, violins, and pianos. We have discussed before that the first musician mentioned in the Bible was from the wicked Canaanite line. But in Psalms, we see how musical sounds created by such instruments could be used to praise our Creator. He who created sound gave us the creativity to use those sounds for beautiful effects.
To discuss any topic related to the Bible and science with creationists like yourself, we invite you to join the Creation Moments group on Facebook. You'll also meet members of our staff there. So join us today to learn more about our wonderful Creator and His awesome creation.
Serving the Pacific Rim and the Indian Ocean region of planet Earth. This is your new life station. Thank you for making your New Life station a part of your Wednesday. The English Hour is currently broadcast 5 times daily. If you're in the Pacific Rim, you can hear us best on 96.95 at 800 hours UTC. At 1000 hours and 1400 hours, you can hear us best on 95.80. And at 1200 hours, you can hear us best on 73.55 or 97.95. If you're in India or anywhere in Southwest Asia, you can hear us best on 13760 at 300 hours. For Lucy Green, I'm Rob Scobie. Join us again tomorrow for your New Life Station's English Hour. We leave you with BTS and Dynamite.